So we are very, very pleased to have Mr. Olou Koucoi from all the way from Benin. He was telling us about his story, how he managed to get into a Ivy League university without even knowing. So I'm sure there's many people that will be jealous there. But hey, that's what happened when you're smart and driven. So Olou, so we here, and as you can see my background, I'm rocking some images where I'm sure you can recognize a couple of people there. Yes, Olu. So we're now going to be moving to the second part of this very, very interesting interview. And then we're going to be talking about revolution that's happening in Africa, in every part of Africa, definitely in West Africa, in East Africa, Central Africa, and most likely surely as well in Southern Africa. And why not as well North Africa? We'll see. So, and I know I'm talking about electric bike because a lot of people are talking about EVs, right? EVs in a different part of the world, in China, in the US, in the UK, in Germany, France, so on and so forth. And sometimes the question is, are we going to be seeing the same change happening in Africa? My own perspective is probably it's going to take some time, some few years. I don't think it's going to be immediate for multiple reasons. I don't want to go into that just right now. But I want to be talking about electric bike because I think you strongly believe into electric bike. For reason, you just launched another company yet again. Because you're very much a serial entrepreneur. So before we're talking about the company, I'm sure you're going to give us also the name. I wanted to know, because you say that you're the kind of guy, you want to solve a societal problem. So why EVs? So why did you get into it? Why did you get involved here?
Okay, Tony, this is thank you for your question. So this is still what I was doing when we met in Ghana for the Renewable Energy Conference, is to provide electricity for people in a more renewable way. We are using solar. So we've now came to an age where we have perfected, in a way, the industry, the solar energy as electricity distribution tool. The industry has been perfected or close to perfection already. So we have been innovative enough, we have been pioneers enough, we have advocated for this enough, right? So yes, some websites still say 1 billion people don't have electricity in Africa, blah, 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 blah. The number is never going down because they want to stay in business. But to be honest with you, when you travel to Nigeria or Benin or even Kenya or Rwanda, in most off-grid villages, you will see either microgrid or solar on almost every roof, right? So we've came to a time where we know today that people in off-grid rural areas in Africa trust solar as a source, solar energy as a source for electricity production, and they are getting it from the market. Local electricians, enough of them have been trained to install these not rocket science solar systems. So that's us providing electricity or reaching a point where most of our people can afford electricity. Not everyone wants electricity. Like in Europe and the US, some people are not on the grid. They don't want electricity for multiple reasons. So when we say access to electricity in Africa, I'm always telling people at conferences that we should talk about affordability of electricity, not access to electricity anymore, because we have the tools to produce electricity already in place, the sun and the solar panels. So we have access to electricity. The problem is affordability. And now there are a lot of consumer financing schemes out there, pay as you go, whatnot. So yes, we have came to a point where we can say today that electricity is available to our people in Africa and off-grid location around the world. And that's electricity for productive use, that's for business, that's for homes. Now, we want to provide electricity for mobility.
Okay.
So this is where I'm kind of switching to mobility, powering mobility, and not just and slowly fading away from powering homes and businesses. There are other companies involved now doing that already. So I think it's time for me and some of my team members to move on to mobility. So your question was why mobility? I think one of the main causes of pollution in our cities, from my experience in Africa, I don't know much about Asia, but a lot of people also talk about India and China, Indian and Chinese cities being really polluted. But I know for African city, the major cause is from the exhaust, from the fume, from the exhaust, from the motorcycles and the cars. We have a lot of imported used cars in our cities in Africa, and those cars pollute a lot of CO into the atmosphere. And then another form of air pollution comes from motorcycles because they use petrol and ICE engines through petrol use produce a lot of CO2 and CO emissions. So now that we are getting close to mastering the engineering of batteries, I think it's time to start converting ICE motorcycles into electrical. When I say motorcycles, I'm talking about mainly about any type of vehicle that use motors.
Okay.
So it can be a motorcycle per se, two-wheelers, three-wheelers. It can be a boat or even a car. But for my company, we are starting with motorcycle because we are in West Africa. I call Benin the gateway to Nigeria. So Benin city, Cotonou, main city Cotonou, and Nigeria combined, the two countries, they import roughly around $500 million US of motorcycle. So the two countries are the largest importer of motorcycle in Africa. Okay. And that's why we are focusing on accelerating the conversion of petrol motorcycles into electrical motorcycles.
That's very interesting, because in one of our video that we deliver on our channel, I think probably the link could be somewhere here or maybe above. So we talked about the main source. I think, okay, yes, I remember that was the video on electric vehicle, on explaining to people why suddenly the focus into electric vehicle. And we're explaining that if we're looking at the main producer of CO2, definitely transportation was part of it. And in transportations, I think there was three main drivers. Definitely, transportation was part of it. And within transportation, I think 60% was coming from obviously the vehicle. That's why we have to decarbonize the fleet of vehicle. So you're doing the same parallel here in Africa, because the situation most likely will be the same. But the difference that in West Africa, and you brilliantly explained that. So yes, we have vehicles, but we have a lot of cars. So it was actually quite smart on you to move into that sector to address it as well, because as you said, there are already other people looking at other aspects. Yeah, in terms of producing power for businesses, we're also producing power for residential. For example, renewables in Africa, we evolve into businesses. So now coming back into, first of all, what's the name of your company, and what is that the company aiming to do exactly? Let's imagine a potential a customer. You gotta tell me first of all who is the target customer, because you say customer, not beneficiaries. So who's the target customer? But first, what is the company and what is the company aiming to do exactly?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the company name is SAKPATA Motors. SAKPATA is SAKPATA. SAKPATA. But I know, like English.
What does that mean?
Native English speakers will say SAKPATA, like as if it was P in the middle, but it's KPA. SAKPATA, we say in our local language here. So yeah, your next question is, what's the SAKPATA? Okay, so the name of the company is SAKPATA Motors. SAKPATA in the West African religion, Voodoo,
Okay.
which originated from, a lot of people say Benin, but I say West Africa, because a lot of tribes in West Africa had their own style of worshiping nature, which is Voodoo. And then the slaves brought it to Brazil, New Orleans in the US, and other parts of the world. Right? So in the Voodoo religion, SAKPATA is the god for the representation of earth god.
Okay.
Which means nature.
Okay.
So we took the name SAKPATA to means that we are the keepers of the earth.
Excellent.
We are the adept of the SAKPATA god, which is earth, which is its atmosphere, and everything that encompasses our solar system, our universe, our galaxy. So SAKPATA motors means motors, design motors that meet the needs of the earth. That works well with earth. Also, in the local language in southern Benin, when something is brand, or you get a brand idea, or you are on point, or you say something that's on point, I can say in reply, SAKPATA. It means fast. It means fast. It means furious. It means smart. So we use that as a slang here, SAKPATA, meaning fast, meaning smart. So the name says everything that we do already. So I want our employees and people involved with this new organization that we are creating.
We were talking about what SAKPATA means, which is the god of earth, as you mentioned. We also mean sharp, fast, right, witty. Now, I wanted to understand a bit more about the vision and the ambition of the company, and who is the company really looking to serve? Can you tell us more about that, please?
All right, Tony, thank you. Yes, I will answer the question, but then before answering the question, I'm going to make a note, which is a company is not, it's never a defined thing. It's always moving, like the whole earth is always moving. So a company may grow, move direction, adapt to different times and as external influences. But so in the future, 100 years, I don't know what will happen, but right now I can tell you the vision why we have building this organization. Okay, so 2 years ago, we started slowly the dream of SAKPATA Motors. We started building a center for e-mobility, which is today called Marconi Center for E-Mobility. And we have constructed the whole building already. We are now recruiting engineers and technicians. We have tools. And the idea of the Marconi Center is to be a place where we accelerate the conversion of electric vehicles. So today, what we are doing is, you asked about the typical customer. What we are doing is we ask people to bring in their existing semi-new motorcycle, which we turn into petrol motorcycle, ICE motorcycle, which we turn into electrical for them. So it's a conversion center. So meaning that right now, anyone with a motorcycle can come to us, to the Marconi Center, and we will tell them the parts that we will remove, the new parts that need to go in, that they need to purchase. And within a week, they have a whole new motorcycle. The design can also be switched in a week. The way we are doing it today is customized, right? So people bring their motorcycles, they wait for a time to get it sort of renewed into electrical. But in the second phase, we are going to be accelerating because we are discussing contract with companies with a lot of fleet of motorcycles, like Telecom, MTN, Move in Benin. They have a lot of motorcycles, so we are in negotiation with those companies to do bulk conversion of their motorcycles. So that will help accelerate the conversion rates that we have today. So the idea of SAKPATA Motors as a company is to have existing motorcycles and other type of vehicles being converted into electrical while slowly building, manufacturing new from prototype electrical motorcycles. So we are building on existing ones today.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, and the fact that you are in conversation with large companies says that definitely the idea is appealing to a number of people. So, thank you very much. I really, really, really appreciate that. And that's very, when you said, just for me to clarify, when you say we build a building, are you saying that your company SAKPATA has first of all built a premise for them for yourself, and then this is where you are operating your business?
No, I was saying the company, our energy company, work on building a center where we are slowly training local mechanics, electricians, and welders to master our conversion kits so that we can start transforming the mostly used motorcycles in West Africa into electrical motorcycles.
Wow,
so the center is being constructed. It's almost 90% finished. We will start converting motorcycle in the next 2 or 3 months. We have done 3 already, but we are recruiting people. We are setting up a whole workshop and building a team around it.
Okay, Olou, I just want to make sure that I understand that correctly. This part for me is very important because there's a lot of people that be listening to what you're saying and may be interested and may want to reach out to you. That's why I like things to be very clear also for them. So what we're saying here is you have partnered with an energy company locally that is building a center where you and your team will be converting thermal motorcycle into electric cycle, and in doing that, so you're going to be training a whole team of welders and electricians who can do that. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, that's probably it. But it's not another local energy company. It's our solar energy company. So it's still under that company's umbrella.
Okay.
We are building the center.
Okay, with your own money.
Yeah, we've self-funded so far. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you have a solar business, and then that solar business. Okay, so this is essentially a group that is expanding.
Exactly.
Excellent, brilliant. No, that I wanted to make that very clear, and this is very clear. So I heard as well that you have built so far 3 motorcycles, and are they currently running as we speak?
Yes, they are currently being used as we speak. We did we launched in May 2nd, and we did a test drive with motorcycle taxi drivers. I know you are familiar with motorcycle taxi in West Africa. In Nigeria, they call them Okada. In Benin, they call them Zim. So they are motorcycle taxi drivers, and they are the main users of motorcycle in our region. So we did a lot of test drive with them, and we did a survey around 87 people who use our motorcycles, and they gave us feedback. So today we are not doing. I won't say we are not doing test drives anymore. The motorcycles are already being used by people on day to day.
Okay, so do you mean that
they are finished products?
Okay, so do you mean that at the end you had some customer who bought it and now they're using it?
Yeah.
Excellent. By the way, as you were talking about the name in Nigeria and Benin and Cameroon, just for information purposes, they call it Bensikin.
Bensikin.
Yeah, Bensikin, exactly. So it's there's a whole story behind it anyway, but That's the local name in Cameroon. So that's
Thank you.
great.
That's good to know.
Exactly. You know, because that may be another market for you. So, question, Olou. So now this is the finished product. Do you have? Let's imagine I am an investor. I'm interested by what you're saying because I find it very, very incredible and very interesting business-wise as well. So would you say that you have, I'm not asking to reveal that because that's confidential information for the company, but would you say that you know exactly what is the cost to then turn that thermal bicycle motorbike into an electric one? Would you know exactly what the cost of production is? I'm not saying, please
we do.
don't mention it because I think you may want to keep it private for yourself. But I just want to know whether you have a specific figure that you know.
Yeah, so this is a good question. Yeah, we do know the approximate cost of conversion, motorcycle, petrol motorcycle conversion to electric. We do know the approximate cost. You know, with electrical vehicles, EVs, the main element is the storage unit, the battery itself. So we are using lithium batteries because they last long, and also you can deplete them and recharge them. It won't really hurt them. So I won't say they are ideal for e-mobility, but they are pretty good for e-mobility. So the most expensive part of electrical motorcycle is the battery. So our business approach now is to rent out the battery and not built into the price of the conversion, the cost of the battery. Otherwise, it will be too expensive for our people to afford it. So speaking of cost, the conversion itself, the mechanical and electrical part is not that expensive. It's just a replacement of motors and then some parts to make the petrol motorcycle electric. And this can happen within like 1 hour or 2 hours.
Wow, 1 hour, 2 hours, you have a new motorcycle that is electric.
Yeah, the part that takes a long time is the customization of the body of the motorcycle. So we call it the clothing of the motorcycle. That's the part that takes long because some customers might want to have their own design. So we can take them through that. We're welders and then the painting area of our workshop, we have a standardized clothing for the SAKPATA motorcycles. But sometimes customers say, I want this shape, not that one. So welding the metal frame to design a custom shape for a motorcycle takes few days. Otherwise, the conversion is quick. It's easy. I mean, easy for us.
And that leads me to my next question. So it looks like you have definitely mastered a method here to turn it that quickly into a brand new motorcycle, which has obviously a new life and then also a new identity. So is that the process that you worked on here and you fine-tuned? Is it something that is proprietary? So or this is a very well-known process that everybody can go and do? Because it seems to me that an hour or two to change a thermal motorcycle, thermal bike into electric one, it's quite fast and quite impressive, right? I almost have in my mind here, so a Formula One stop, or let's say a Paris-Dakar stop where somebody's stopping for an hour, and then when it's ready to go, that's another motorcycle that is using. That's what I find it quite incredible. So is it something that is protected, the method that you've developed, or it's quite well known?
It's I think the process is quite well known by mechanical and electrical engineers focusing on e-mobility, but it's rarely used. Most people build electrical motorcycle or electrical vehicles from scratch. So while our design process is patent pending, the way we do it, our process is patent pending. It's our proprietary process. But the general process of conversion from petrol to electrical is well known. It's
Okay.
just how to make it very fast and efficient. That needs a process, and that needs a design work that we did. And we are filing for the patent for it. And we are also filing for a patent for our battery and battery recharging station.
Okay, that's that's very good. I won't ask you where the patent is being filed because I don't, as I say, I don't want to give too many information to people that may eventually want to compete. But just want to say that
Thank you, Tony.
it's just incredible what you're doing, and for me, I'm just in love of the idea. So. Looking at all that journey that you have covered so far with SAKPATA Motors, so I was gonna say, is that one thing that's really sticking out of your mind? So how would you describe the journey so far? Has it been exciting? Has it been very, very challenging? Has it been depressing? I'm sure you say it hasn't been depressing, but if you had one or two words to describe the journey, the adventure so far, so what would you say?
I would say roller coaster.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So that means you then ready to go for your Paris Dakar, right? So you don't know, maybe your Cotonou Dakar, Paris or whatever. No,
It will be Benin, Cameroon.
exactly, Benin, Cameroon, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna do all the countries in Africa. So
Yeah.
Olu, that's the end of the second part, and then as I say, it was just brilliant to find out more about the company. So what you done? Oh, just quickly before we move on to the last part. So how many are you in SAKPATA Motors at the moment?
At the moment, we are around 10 people.
Okay.
We have a business developer, myself, we have a chief engineer, and we have local like technicians. I call them technicians because they are not engineers from school. They just learn the trade. They are mechanics, welders, electricians, and we are still training them. They help us do the first three motorcycles, and we are still working with them so that they get close to perfection into assembling and converting motorcycles.
This is excellent. This is excellent because one thing that you just raving here is important that you mentioned that is that in all this adventure you are also training people on the ground, passing on skills and building capacity here, which is effectively what Africa also needs, not only Benin but the whole of the continent. And this is great. So that's the end of the second part. So Olou, thank you very much so far. We had a brilliant conversation, but I'm pleased to say it is not finished. So stay tuned.